This video is just going to be a quick overview of the Hole Manager feature and automatic feature recognition inside of GIBS-CAM. This is a pretty in-depth topic. There's a lot of features, but I just want to give an overview. I'll come back later on and follow up with a few videos on manipulating the data once we have it. Really, what the Hole Manager does is it automatically detects all the holes that need to be drilled, countersunk, tapped, things like that inside of a model. Instead of going through this and having to create all of the coordinate systems myself and define all the holes myself, especially on a model like this where there's a few different holes on a few different levels. You know, you can see there's ones that are on radii, things like that. Hole Manager will do this for me. I'll show you here. If we go up to Features and then Hole Manager, we get this pop-up window here. This is the Hole Manager. I'm going to go ahead and open up my tools and my machining palette. You can see that there's no holes defined, there's no tool paths or tools or anything. So let me move this model over so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. All right, so right here there's no holes, no groups, no anything. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to run AFR. That stands for Automatic Feature Recognition. Let me go ahead and pick this solid first. There we go. So now it's analyzing the model and it picks out all of the holes that it can find. We can see here that each hole has a point and a line. Some lines end just with nothing at the end, but a point, and some with a little line at the bottom. The ones with the lines at the bottom are blind holes. The ones that do not have the little line at the bottom, those are through holes. So it's actually smart enough to know the difference between those two. If we look at this model, we can actually see that there are a few different colors. So let me go ahead and pull up this little graphic from the help menu. There we go. So we can see that the colors coordinate with what each hole is. You know, drill, tap, ream, bore, bore through, back bore, all that other stuff. And here's the corresponding colors with that. So just by looking at this model, we can see that we have some blind holes, some through holes. We have, you know, a compound hole and, you know, a whole bunch of through bores or something like that. So, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So what's my next step? So I have these holes, great. So now what do I do with them? So what I want to do is I want to group these together. For instance, I know that these four are all the same. They're going to be drilled with the same drill, countersunk, all that other stuff, the same end condition, things like that. I know that both of these holes here, you can see as I click on these two, it highlights it over here so we know which holes are going on. So right here, this is this lock selection. If I have that clicked off, you can see that these move independently. If I hit lock selection, as I click these, you can see that it highlights over here and vice versa. So we can go over here. So anyway, back to grouping. So I want to group this stuff. I can go through and hold down the control key and group a bunch together, but we have this thing here called auto group. So let's go ahead up here. I'm just going to go ahead and hit auto group. What that does is that automatically groups the holes, the similar holes together. Now there's settings for this to tell GIBS-CAM what makes holes similar. We'll get to that in another video. But just for now, let's just go ahead and say that they use the similar holes and they group them together. For instance, group 2, if we click on this, we can see that it's grouped all of these 8 holes. Come down here to group 3, it's grouped all of those holes. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to machine those together. Now, when I say machine those together, you can see that there's no coordinate systems, there's no tools, there's nothing like that. That's where this all comes in. Okay, so we have auto whiz, hole whiz, and drill process. Auto whiz is what I'm going to do right here. It's going to go ahead and create coordinate systems and tool paths for each one of those points and each one of those holes. Hole wizard will let me create just the processes for a single group. And then drill process will just be like doing it on your own. You pick a drill, you pick a tool, you pick a process, all that other stuff. But I'm going to show you auto whiz here. It's going through and creating tool paths for each one of those groups. Now, not only is it creating toolpaths for those, it's also creating coordinate systems for those. You can see here it's created 4 new coordinate systems. So let's say, for instance, you just wanted to find a fast way to create coordinate systems for these holes. This is a great way to do it. Even if you don't use a toolpath, it's a really fast way to create coordinate systems. Once you have the toolpaths, let's go ahead and run rendering. Slow it down just a little bit. There we go. So we can see it goes ahead and it drills through all that. The clearances are a little bit off, things like that. All right, so one thing to note is, if we look over here, see these long holes that go through, they don't go all the way through the block. So I'm just gonna quickly talk, there's tons of ways to manipulate the toolpaths and the results of the automatic feature recognition and AutoWiz, but I'm just quickly going to show some of those right now. So, we can come here and let's go ahead and right click on this, and we can change the orientation of that hole. I'm sorry, let's get out of this so we can see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick that long hole, these compound holes here. So we can do a whole bunch of stuff, one of which is we can edit the length of it. So if I hit edit, now this is that whole profile. This dictates what geometry is used to define that drilling cycle. So we can say top diameter, bottom diameter. You can see it's just under 3/4. Here's the length of the bottom. Here's the overall length. Let's call that, I don't know, we'll say 7 inches. Show. So now we can see that it goes ahead and goes past. So that's one way to manipulate the holes. So what I showed here really quick was running automatic feature recognition and then running AutoWiz to create hole definitions, points, lines, and toolpaths and tools. I'm going to go ahead and follow up with a bunch of other videos going into this a little bit more in depth as far as creating from geometry, how to dictate what tools are used, things like that. In the meantime, if you have any questions about Hole Manager and any of these automatic feature recognition settings, please give your local reseller a call or give a call to Gibbs Cam Tech Support. Thank you.